welcome to another up close video. So today's one is designer's choice number 13, which is called Luxurious Lace, and look at the beautiful folder we've got it in this time. I don't think the designer's choice has had a pretty folder before, has it? Oh no, it has. It's a different design, wasn't it? Yes, it was the corally kind of colour design, but yeah, we've got a different design now in a minty kind of blue tone. So this is the gorgeous folder, and then this is the absolutely stunning die set. I have really enjoyed this die set. I've got 5 samples to show you. I did only film 2 of them in one sped up video because I know I won't get a chance to edit any more videos than that. But I really enjoyed this die set. I don't think I've put them all back on there in the original way they were configured, but this is packed full, and it's really its name is really apt, being called Luxurious Lace, because there are so many different configurations of how you can put these dies together. You can just use one of them. You can use 2 in conjunction to create a wider border strip. You've got all these thinner border strips. You've got tons of different outside edge designs, and also some of them interlock into each other as well, which is really clever. And so like this piece here, you can actually combine with this piece, or this piece to create this kind of a shape that you can get from this one, and then you can keep extending it. You can cut them all from different pieces of cardstock, layer them up. You can get like that gorgeous petticoat effect on a card. Tons of different ways of using these, so I'll try and show you them in a way that shows off their versatility. So this die set is really like packed full, like you could not fit anything else on that die set, and they've even like filled in the tiny little gaps to give you extra pieces to decorate with as well. So if I start off by showing you like the bigger pieces first, I'll just bring a piece of card in to kind of show you on. So there are like 3 designs for this larger portion of the design. So these are the main kind of like 3 scallop design that you've got, and this one can be combined with multiple other edge pieces to finish it off. Although I think if you just cut it like that, it would kind of look like a distressed mosaic kind of look, the way it kind of fades off in a random fashion, which I think would look lovely. And so as well as these main pieces, you also have 2 different cutting edges that will work with this big scallop. So you've got this one, which cuts this beautiful extra scallopy border. So you've got little scallops on big scallops, and I love all the little pieces that fall out of this one. They kind of look like little tiny rainbows. And you also have just the plain edge to cut this one too. And the great thing about the cutting edges, but yeah, you can see that this one is slightly longer, so the cutting edge is slightly longer above and below, which means that on like this one here, where the pattern actually ends here, when you cut that with the edge, you're going to get an extra piece of card that's just solid either end, which makes it really great for sticking down or for trying to create them into like shaker cards and stuff. And all of the edges are slightly longer than the design, so you've got that kind of little bit of extra wiggle room to be able to cut your card blank and do a matte and layer on top of it, and all sorts of different bits and pieces like that. Also, I'll tell you the length of these too. So the actual cutting edge is 5.5 inches, so which is also just over 14 centimetres, so that will work perfectly for all of your A2 or A6 kind of size of card. And then the actual detail portion is just a tiny bit shorter than that, so it is just over 5.25 inches, which is 13.5 centimetres, which is what I always cut my panels to anyway, so this works perfectly for an A2 sized card, but obviously also works for an A6 card, because an A6 card is just a titchy bit taller than an A2 card, so they'll work perfectly for both the UK and the USA, or whichever size of card you like to make as well. So So this large piece, as well as having these two cutting edges and then like these three main pieces, you've also got this extra one which you could just use with the cutting edge, or you can use it to extend the pattern of any of these and then use the cutting edge on them as well. So instantly here you've already got so many different options of using different cutting edges or mixing in this like extra spacer piece in there as well. And also you also get this piece which you can then combine with any of these to fill in the rest of the area. So it kind of gives you the opposite design, and then obviously you can use this straight edge piece to cut that out if you want to as well, because it's just the opposite side of the scallop. This one wouldn't work really because the scallop would be cutting against the design, so the scallop one doesn't really work with this one. But you can also add in this like extra spacer die before you cut the edge on this one, and that would work really nicely to make that a larger kind of panel. And then also, as well as having this piece to kind of fill in that scallop design, if you wanted more of a rectangular design, you've also got two different tiny little triangular pieces that will actually fill in that design as well. So you've got different options there too to give you more of a rectangular design if you want to. Or here, for example, where we have put two of the scallops together like that, you could then actually completely change the design and add those little triangles inside there as well. So you've got all of those options. But also what I was just saying about this piece having a weird like bottom edge to it, you've actually got multiple different options to fit in there. So any of the ones that have this kind of irregular scallop with too small, a large, too small, they actually fit perfectly in there to give you a piece that is the same size as these solid pieces here. So you've got that option. You've also got this slightly more curly, lacy option, and then you've got this option as well, which just cuts cute little flowery designs all the way along that shape too. So that also gives you three extra options for filling in those designs. But then for these ones you also get multiple different cutting edges for the outside of these. So you can also add a straight cutting edge onto this, which again you could use to cut the back edge of this piece as well if you wanted to, for whatever design you're trying to figure out. But you've got that edge to work with all three of those. You've also got this edge, which is kind of like, again, scallops on a scallop, if that makes sense. So you've got like an extra little scallopy edge that can go on any of these designs, and you've also got this edge which is kind of like little half flowers sort of going across there, and then that would work on any of these three as well. So you've also got three different ways of cutting them out, but again you can also use these ones to cut off this back edge of this design as well if you want to as too. And then if you're thinking, well, we haven't got anything that's like a straight cut edge, but you obviously, if you want the straight edge, you could just use your paper trimmer or cut it against a basic shape kind of die that you've used, or the brand new decal edge trimmer works fabulously to cut off the straight edge of this and give you a little decal that goes along with this kind of lacy theme, and I've used that on a few of my cards because I think it looked brilliant. But you also have this piece, which is just kind of reminding me of like the top of a fence, like a wrought iron fence, but that is also like the straight kind of design that will cut along there but also give you that kind of lacy edge as well. And you can use that in conjunction with any of these skinny ones or the wide ones as well. Or, see, I told you this was a really versatile die set. I'm never going to be able to get them back on this sheet now, I've taken them all off. But you also get three extra designs that are all like little strip designs that you could just use to cut the pattern into your card. Any of these you could just cut the pattern into your card, but you've also got the options to cut them out as well. But you've got all of these three different designs. I really love this one with the circles in the middle, perfect for your Nouveau drops. This has kind of got like cross designs in it, and then this one's like a lattice. And then you can use any of these in conjunction with these ones to make the design slightly longer, and then again you could bring in this design to fill that out, and then you've got the extension on there. Or you can go back to any of these solid designs and even extend it out with the three different patterns to give you a longer kind of piece of lace with all the design in it. And you don't just have to cut them all into the same piece of card. You can easily get different length pieces of card and cut like one into one, one into another, and actually give that layered like petticoat effect to your card as well. So there are so many different combinations that you can do with this die set. It's gonna last you a long time thinking up all of the combinations. I mean, I've made 5 cards and I've not even touched on the number of combinations that you can do. There's just so much in this die set that you can actually create, and you've got all of the options to give you a big scalloped edge as your like edge of your piece, or a smaller scalloped edge with different wrinkly edges, even the straight edge with the little fancy design, or even like putting the pieces together to create a rectangular design as well, which I think is fabulous. And I can't believe that this is, you know, is going to be a designer's choice set. I'd expect this one to be quite expensive, like a £30 kind of a die set for the amount of versatility that's in here. I mean, usually when you get a kind of bordery sort of die set like this, you tend to get like maybe 3 cutting edges with 3 designs, but you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cutting edges, and then you've got so many different designs to go inside them. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different designs to go inside, plus those 2 little triangles that are both different as well, so you can use them both together to give an offset kind of look with the different designs, or you can cut both the same one in. And that one almost looks as if it's kind of got a sort of fleur-de-lis design in it as well. I haven't actually cut these 2 little ones, but yeah, so many different options with this die set. It's kind of difficult to know where to start, but I think just putting your favourite combination together, giving it a go, running it through your machine, you know, and seeing what you can come up with. Even just get some scrap white card and try and cut all of the combinations that you can think of, and I'm sure you'll think of so many more that you can do with this die set as well. So I'll be back in 1 second with all of my samples to show you too. Okay, so my first 2 samples are the ones that are going to be in the sped up video, so there'll be a video of me creating these 2 cards. This one did go a little bit wonky, but I don't think it actually matters. I tried to add on just a piece that I'd cut with the Deco Edge trimmer, and you don't really notice too much that it went a bit wonky. So I think, you know, I think that still looks fine. But anyway, I liked how they turned out. But I just did a birthday card and a sympathy card because I had a request to do a few more sympathy cards, because obviously this time of year especially, and because of everything that's going on, you kind of might need a sympathy card. But yeah, I had so much fun just playing with the different combinations of the different laces, like lacy designs, and also you can just use part of one on here. I've just cut one of the big scallops out of that design as well. I've done a little bit of ink blending in the background using the gorgeous large Nuvo ink blending brushes and some broken china distress ink. Just to kind of draw your focus just to that area, and then I've just layered up a couple of the designs, and I've used the Deco Edge trimmer to cut either side of this like straight piece with the dots in the middle, and you can see how perfectly Nuvo drops go in the centre of that. If you didn't see my video on the Deco Edge trimmer, this is the trimmer. You can tell it's the Deco one because it is black rather than grey, and obviously it says Deco on it as well, but I think this is a fantastic trimmer, and I've really been enjoying using it as well. I've used it on a few of the other cards too, and then I just built up this one using the solid. Obviously I don't think I said that earlier, you can just use the solid of the edges as well. So I've done the solid in the Silky Sky mirror card, and then added the was that the Azure feathers? I think it was, with the detail over the top of it as well, and just really sort of layered up all the different designs. And these work absolutely perfectly with the sentiment headers that Tonic brought out on Create and Craft recently. Hopefully they'll be available on the website to buy soon, on the Tonic website, but they go absolutely perfectly because obviously you've just got that straight strip with the sentiment on, so they'll work with any combination of all these little lacy designs, and it instantly gives a really simple card. So I wanted to keep this one pretty simple, just using 3 of the different, 4 or 5 actually, of the different dies from this month's Designer's Choice. And then I did this one too, which is a bit more elaborate, and the sentiment here is from the With Love with Sympathy duo sentiment die set from Tonic that came out could possibly be a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago now. And then I've just used lots of different blues and silvers to create my layered design. So I've cut the lacy edged one from a piece of the light blue card, then I've cut the straight edge but with that stripy kind of add-on scallopy piece from the silver, then I've cut the straight big scallop with the scallop that you can fit one of these edges into the bottom, and I've used that edge plus a straight edge all into that dark blue colour. But then I've come back in and used the light blue card with the little scallopy edge that goes with this border piece so that I could just back it behind that area, and then I've still got the silver showing behind this piece from the previous die cut. And then because when I'd stuck it all together, I know it's wonky because I've got it off a little bit here, that's why, but when I'd stuck it all together and trimmed off the edges, I was like, oh no, that looks terrible, because this piece was going off at like a complete angle, going from like 1.5 centimetres to like less than 1 centimetre down here. But to just try and offset it a little bit, because obviously you don't want to start again with a card and don't want to waste all the little bits you've already die cut and everything. So I just took some of the same silver card that I'd used back here and cut it with the decal edge trimmer, and then I did deliberately cut that wonky as well, and then just added it on, so it kind of looks like it was more deliberate because it's sort of going wonky in 2 different directions then as well. And then for the sentiment, I just layered up white with the Silky Sky mirror card behind there as well, to give you 2 just quite quick cards. I mean, deciding on which scallopy layers to use is probably the longest part of this card, but yeah, I think they look pretty cool actually. I really like this kind of lacy design because they're not too traditional kind of looking, they're quite modern looking. Well, to me, I think they look quite modern, especially with this gorgeous scallopy design. The way I've kind of hidden that bit there as well, it almost looks like flower petals coming out from behind as well. And I really love this one, the way you've instantly got, like, it looks like this is a separate piece that's layered on top, but it is actually just one die cut with another die. But because it's got that like missing piece of the design so that you can fit the 2 together, it instantly looks like you've got 2 more layers there, but you haven't actually. It looks like this is 4 layers, but it's only 3 layers, so it kind of cuts out one of your dimensional layers on your card, which is brilliant. So that is the sped up video, which will be up probably the day after this video. Then obviously I couldn't stop playing, and I'd already thought of a few other ideas, so I did this little thank you card, which I probably should have done a bit of purple ink blending in the background, but I didn't in the end. But this is using that method that I like to do of squishing the drops together. So I used stone drops and dream drops. I used the plum slate stone drop and the supernova dream drop as well together. The supernova one was a limited edition one that came in a craft kit, so I'm not sure if you can actually get this separately, but it goes perfectly with that stone drop. Oh, and I didn't tell you before actually, the drops I'd used on these 2 cards, I used the Frosted Lake Dream Drop, which is from the newest colour trend, and then I also used, where is it? Oh, it's fallen over. This is the Blue Ice Metallic Drop, I think. This came out in the White Wonderland colour trend, but it went perfectly with all the blue colours of card that I used, so I used it for the drops here. Anyway, back to this card. So I was using different purple tones on this one, and I was using different combinations of like the cutting in and the little scallopy border. I've also used the decal edge trimmer again, because I thought it would look, I think it looks really nice because you've got all of these ruffly edges on the actual die cuts. Having that little decal edged trimmed piece rather than just cutting it straight with your trimmer, I think it looks really nice. And adding some faux stitching with a white gel pen also works really nicely as well. And then I've got this gorgeous one. Can you tell that was my favourite combination of using the scallop with that stripy kind of design in it? Really like that. Yeah, I think maybe I would have done a little bit more like ink blending and stuff behind to sort of make the thank you stand out slightly more. But again, the thank you is one of those sentiment headers from a different die set from the other one, but it's one of those sentiment headers. Then I also wanted to, I was going to paper piece, but I thought, well, I haven't done paper piecing in a while actually, but there's lots of examples of paper piecing on my channel. So I decided to just use confetti and glitter behind this. I've used the Luscious, Luminous lily pad hexagons, which came out in the newest rustic rose colour trend. And then I also used the Enchanted Eden glitter, which is actually an exclusive colour for this month's craft kit. So if you've got craft kit number 38, if you've already placed your order for it and it's going to come the 1st of next month, this glitter is in that kit and it's a beautiful colour. I love this colour, Enchanted Eden. And it works perfectly with those lily pad hexagons as well. And so for this one, I used the big flowery 3 scalloped lace, and then I used this piece together with the other piece to give the other half of the design. And you can see how perfectly they go together to create a half design as well. So you can see this kind of a card, endless possibilities, because you can mix this piece with like 3 or 4 different designs in the middle, and then obviously you could then do this like exactly the same on both sides, or again you've got like 3 different options for this piece which you could do on the same on both sides as well. So loads of different combinations to create this kind of a card. And then I hadn't used this straight piece, so I decided to use that again with another one of these scallopy ones on the other side, just as a little border going across. And then I just used my Dymo labeler to add the sentiment of best wishes on here. And I've also used some dragon scales, dream drops, to like embellish areas and do some little dots on there too. And then the final one that I did, I wanted to show this piece in use as well, and look, you can actually put it on the inside of your card, so you've got like the missing front piece of your card and you've got that beautiful design on the inside then as well. And again, I've just done another Sympathy card too. This one is the Celtic cross die that Tonic brought out probably a couple of years ago now, and then this Sympathy word is from the Mix and Match Sentiments. It was like a square panel that had 3 ovals missing, and you could put different words in them, but I like using them by themselves, and I think this works really nicely on this card. And especially that Celtic cross, it goes with that kind of lacy theme as well. And I really like the idea of cutting part of your card blank off, and this is what I was trying to explain earlier about the cutting edge is like longer than the design, so you can have the cutting edge completely like cutting off the length of your card, but you can then have a matte and layer and you know, just use the length of the design for the matte and layer rather than the length of the edge piece as well. So I think that looks pretty cool, and I love the layering up of like the purple tones as well. I did use the Supernova Dream Drops on this one too, to like decorate the cross and go along this scallopy border. Again, a little bit of white stitching as well, but I just wanted to show a few more combinations of using these dies as well. And also you've got like the deckled edge there too that I've just used with the deckle edge trimmer. And actually with this one you've got those little pin pricks on there too, so you could actually stitch through that if you wanted to. You could do smaller Nouveau drops and follow the pin pricks rather than the little holes that were in the design as well. So lots of different options. And this piece here is the same edge cut 3 times. So the first white one is cut into the card blank, then I cut it from Lilac Wave specialty cardstock, and then I cut it into the front panel for my card as well. So you can use the same cutting edge to layer up the design too. You don't have to just have the detail layered, you know, you can actually just layer the basic shape as well. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video looking at designer's choice number 13, which is the luxurious lace. I couldn't remember what the word was. Luxurious lace. I hope I've given you a few different ideas of how you might want to use these dies together, but there are so many combinations. I'm guessing that everybody else that's had this die set to play with and create videos and stuff with has probably done all sorts of different other combinations as well, because there are literally like hundreds of configurations and combinations and layering effects, and you can just bring it in from one side of the card or both sides of the card. You could even extend them as well. like if you like making bigger cards than an A6 or an A2 size, maybe you prefer more of a 5x7 or an 8x8 or something as well, you can extend this, because this is the same like scallop all the way up. You can actually cut this, but then move it up a little bit, line it up with the part that's already cut, and add some more scallops to it as well, and continue the design on to make it a larger design too. And I'm sure you can extend a lot of the patterns as well, because these ones is very repeating to go along with the symmetrical kind of shape. So if you just moved it up a bit, slotted part of the design into a bit that's previously been cut as well, you can really elongate the design too, which is fantastic. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed and liked the inspiration and stuff as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!